The stars stretched endless in the black sea of space. Mark sat in the worn chair of his salvage ship staring at the monitors. His crew had been searching for weeks without finding anything worth selling. Fuel was low and the crew was tired. Beside him, Lena leaned forward and tapped a screen. "Mark, look at this. I am reading a strange signal from the asteroid belt ahead. It is weak but steady." Mark narrowed his eyes. Most signals in deep space came from old beacons or broken satellites. Still, this one felt different. "Bring us closer. Let's see what we have." The ship drifted toward the cluster of gray rocks. At first it looked like any other belt of floating stones. But then the radar showed something hidden inside one of the larger asteroids. The readings made no sense. "It looks metallic," said Tom, the engineer. His voice shook with both fear and excitement. "But the mass is too big. That thing is the size of a city block." The crew watched in silence as the salvage ship crept closer. Dust and rock floated around them. When the asteroid rotated, something impossible came into view. The asteroid was not solid. Part of it was hollow, and inside lay a giant shape, dark and smooth with glowing lines running across its hull. The object was not broken or rusted. It was whole, waiting. "That's a ship," whispered Lena. Her voice trembled. "But I have never seen one like that." Mark swallowed hard. His heart raced. Ships did not look like this. Human designs were rough, with bolts and plates and engines sticking out. This one looked alive, like a single piece of black stone carved into the form of a vessel. The glowing lines pulsed faintly, as if the ship itself was breathing. The crew docked carefully at what looked like an entry port. It opened by itself, as if the ship had been waiting for them. Inside, the hall stretched wide, with walls that shone like glass and metal at once. Strange symbols glowed faintly along the panels. Their footsteps echoed in the silence. "This is no alien ship," Tom said at last, scanning the air. "I don't believe it. The oxygen here is perfect for humans. The systems, they were built for us, but how?" asked Lena. "This design is centuries ahead of anything Earth has. No one could have built this." Mark touched the wall. The surface was cool, smooth, and seemed to ripple under his hand. Lights flickered to life, running in streams along the corridor. The air filled with a low hum, deep and steady. The crew followed the sound until they reached a vast chamber. At its center stood a command chair, surrounded by glowing displays of light. Shapes moved across the air, maps of stars, diagrams of weapons, and symbols none of them could read. Mark felt drawn to the chair. He hesitated, then slowly placed his hand on the armrest. At once the room came alive. The displays grew brighter and a deep voice filled the chamber. "Vanguard systems online. Human captain detected. Welcome." The crew froze. "Did it just speak?" Lena whispered. Tom stared, his mouth open. "It recognized us. It is waiting for us." Mark pulled back his hand, but the lights dimmed as if the ship did not want him to leave. He placed his hand again and the voice returned. "This vessel is designated Vanguard. Origin human, classification warship. Purpose, defense of humanity. Status operational. Human?" Mark said slowly. "That is impossible. No human could have built something like this," the voice continued, calm and steady. "Vanguard was created in the year 2781. Temporal displacement has occurred. Current era is earlier by 3 centuries. Systems stable. Awaiting command." The crew exchanged stunned looks. Lena shook her head in disbelief. "It is saying it is from the future." Mark sat heavily in the chair, trying to process the words. A warship from 300 years ahead, sitting inside an asteroid waiting for them. He thought about the endless days of scavenging broken wrecks, the hopeless search for scraps to sell. And now, here before him, was something no one in the galaxy had ever seen. A ship so advanced it should not exist yet. Tom stepped closer. "Mark, if this is real, if this ship is ours, it changes everything. No alien empire could push us around. Earth would finally have power." Lena frowned. "Or it could bring war. If others find out, they will come for it. For us." The hum of the ship grew louder, almost as if it was listening to their debate. Mark tightened his grip on the armrest. "This ship is human. That means it belongs with us. But we need to be careful. If we take it, we may put Earth in danger. If we leave it, someone else might find it." The choice weighed heavily on him. Yet deep inside, he felt something more than fear. He felt connection, as if the ship had chosen him. The lights along the walls pulsed gently like a heartbeat. The ship waited, patient and silent. Mark looked at his crew. "For now, we keep this quiet. No signals, no broadcast. Not until we know what we are dealing with. Lena and Tom nodded. Mark leaned back in the glowing chair. Outside, the asteroid field drifted slowly, hiding their discovery from the galaxy. Inside, the warship Vanguard came to life, its systems awake for the first time in centuries. And though Mark could not yet see it, the moment they found the ship, the future of humanity had already begun to change. The warship Vanguard rested in silence, but its silence was alive. Every surface glowed with soft light. Every hall seemed ready for footsteps. Mark stood on the bridge, his hand still on the armrest of the command chair. The ship responded to him as though it had been waiting for his touch for centuries. "Captain detected," the voice repeated, calm and steady. "Systems fully operational. Standing by." Lena circled the chamber, staring at the floating maps and symbols. "I don't understand." "It reacts to you, Mark, only to you." "Why?" Mark shook his head. "I don't know. Maybe because I was the first to sit here." Tom leaned over a glowing display. "These readings are impossible. Look at this. Energy output beyond anything we know. Weapons I cannot even describe. And this engine. It says the ship can cross the distance between stars in days, not years." Lena gasped. "That is not human technology. At least not the human technology of our time." Mark remembered the voice's words. Created in the year 2781. 3 centuries in the future. His mind spun. "It means we are looking at human technology, Lena. Just not from now. From later." Tom grinned, wide-eyed like a child with a new toy. "Do you realize what this means? Humanity will become greater than any alien empire out there. We will build ships like this one day. This is proof." But Lena did not share his excitement. She folded her arms tightly. "Or this is a curse. If the alien powers learn we found this, they will not let us keep it. They will come in fleets. We are not ready." The ship's lights flickered gently as if sensing the tension. Mark spoke slowly. "Right now this ship is in our hands. That makes it our duty to understand it. If it truly belongs to humanity, we cannot let it fall into alien hands." He placed his hand on the chair again. "Vanguard, can you explain your systems?" At once the chamber filled with shifting diagrams. Holographic ships appeared, enemy fleets highlighted in red, energy weapons drawn in glowing lines. The voice explained in simple tone. Vanguard-class warship. Primary armament phase lances, capable of disintegrating enemy hulls at molecular level. Secondary armament drone swarms, independent self-replicating units. Tertiary armament temporal shields. Prevents hostile fire by altering relative time. Tom's jaw dropped. Disintegrating hulls? Self-replicating drones. Time shields? That's beyond anything we have ever imagined. Lena stepped back. "It is too much. Too advanced. It feels wrong, like holding lightning in our bare hands." But Mark felt something else. Not fear, but awe. This was not alien. It was human. This was their future. "Vanguard," Mark asked, "why are you here? How did you end up in this time?" The voice answered without pause. "During a test of advanced warp drive, temporal instability occurred. Vessel displaced into the past. Emergency protocol. Concealment within asteroid field. Await contact with human captain." "So it hid here," Mark whispered. "Waiting for us," Lena looked at him. "And it chose you." Mark did not reply. His thoughts were heavy. Why him? He was not a soldier, not a leader of nations. He was just a salvage captain trying to make a living, yet the ship called him captain, as if the bond was already sealed. Tom tapped another panel. "Mark, look at this. The ship has data on Earth colonies, on alien borders, on battles we have not even fought yet. It knows the future." The thought chilled Mark. Knowledge of the future was power, but also danger. If Earth leaders gained it, they could prepare. If alien powers stole it, humanity would suffer. He stood slowly. "We need to be careful with this. For now, no one else can know, not until we decide what must be done." Lena nodded reluctantly. "But others will notice. We cannot keep a ship like this hidden forever." Mark glanced around the bridge. The glowing maps showed star systems near and far, fleets of red dots moving across space. The Vanguard already seemed aware of everything around them. "Vanguard," he asked carefully, "are there any ships nearby?" The holograms shifted. The voice replied, "No immediate threats. However, long-range scans detect Drax Alliance patrols approaching this sector. Probability of detection if Vanguard departs asteroid field, 78%. The crew exchanged uneasy looks. Tom muttered, "The Drax Alliance. Of all the enemies we could face first, it had to be them. Lena's eyes darkened. If they learn about this ship, they will never stop hunting us. Mark sat back down, his decision firming inside him. Then we will not let them learn. We will study the Vanguard, understand it, and decide how to protect it. If humanity's future is inside this ship, we cannot fail. The ship's lights pulsed gently again, almost like approval. The crew began exploring deeper into the vessel. Each corridor revealed something stranger. Rooms filled with tall pods that might have been drone factories. Chambers with walls of glowing crystals that hummed with endless energy. Storage bays that could hold smaller ships within. Everywhere they went, the ship seemed to guide them, opening doors before they arrived, lighting paths through the shadows. It was not just a machine. It felt alive, aware of them, watching and waiting. Later, as Mark stood alone on the bridge, the stars shining through the great viewing window, he felt a quiet certainty. This ship had been sent back not by accident, but by fate, and though he did not yet know how, he understood one thing clearly. The Vanguard had chosen him for a reason. The Vanguard floated silently inside the hollow asteroid, hidden from the galaxy's eyes, but its very existence was already shaping the future. Mark sat on the bridge studying the star maps glowing around him. The ship showed him red symbols moving at the edge of the sector. Drax Alliance patrols. The warning from Vanguard still echoed in his mind. If those ships came closer, their secret would not last. Lena entered quietly. "You have not left this chair in hours," she said. Mark rubbed his tired eyes. "This ship keeps showing me things. Star routes, fleet positions, energy patterns. It feels like it wants me to learn." Lena frowned. "Or maybe it is training you, preparing you for something." Her words unsettled him. The thought that the ship was shaping him into the captain it wanted was both exciting and frightening. Tom arrived next, holding a small, glowing device. "You should see this," he said eagerly. "I took it from one of the side rooms. It looks like a tool, but it repaired itself when I scratched it. Metal, circuits, all healed like living tissue. Mark, this ship is a treasure chest of future science. We could spend a lifetime studying it." Lena shot him a sharp look. "And in that time, how long before the Drax Alliance notices us? They are already moving near this sector." As if on cue, the Vanguard spoke, its voice steady. "Alert, increased activity detected. Drax Alliance fleet concentration rising near human border. Probability of interception in this region within 7 days high." The words filled the room with heavy silence. Mark stood slowly. "So it begins. They are coming." Lena's face grew pale. "We should not even be here. If the Drax learn about this ship, they will not only come for us, they will go for Earth. Billions of lives would be in danger." Tom shook his head stubbornly. "And if we hide or give this up, humanity will stay weak forever. Don't you see? This ship could give us a future where we are no one's prey." The tension between them rose like fire. Mark raised his hand. "Enough. This is bigger than us. Bigger than profit, bigger than fear. This ship exists and it is human. That means the galaxy will change whether we want it or not." The Vanguard's lights pulsed gently as though agreeing with him. Later that night, Mark sat alone in the bridge looking at the stars. He thought of Earth far behind him, still fragile and watched by stronger powers. Humanity was young compared to alien empires, always careful not to anger them, always struggling for survival in colonies and trade routes. But with the Vanguard, everything could change. "Why me?" he whispered to the empty air. The ship's voice answered softly, almost as if it had been waiting for his question. "Selection based on compatibility. Human mind capable of adaptive strategy. Human will aligned with defensive species. You are suitable." Mark let out a breath. "So you chose me?" "Affirmative," the Vanguard replied. For a long moment he sat in silence, the weight of the choice pressing down on him. He was no soldier, no leader. But the ship believed in him, and now his crew looked to him for direction. The next day, Lena returned with grim news. "I picked up coded signals from the outer beacons. Rumors are spreading already. Some traders claim they saw a strange energy surge in this region. If even a whisper of this reaches the Drax, they will come in force." Tom muttered. "Too late. They are already moving closer." Mark knew she was right. Secrets never stayed hidden in space for long. The crew gathered on the bridge, tension heavy in the air. "We need a plan," Lena said firmly. "We cannot fight an empire. Not even with this ship." Mark looked at the glowing maps around them. Maybe not. But if the Drax believe humans cannot be trusted with this ship, they will not stop. They will use fear as an excuse to crush us. Earth will need to make a stand. Tom leaned forward. Then let us be the first stand. Let us show them what this ship can do. If we defeat even one of their fleets, humanity will earn respect. Lena shook her head. Or we bring a storm down on all of us. Every alien empire will come, not just the Dracs. They will all fear us. The argument circled again, fear against hope, caution against courage. But in the end, all eyes turned to Mark. He straightened slowly. We cannot run. If we run, they will only follow. We cannot hide forever. If this ship is humanity's, then it is time we stop bowing our heads. The Vanguard's lights brightened as if answering his resolve. Captain, it said, enemy fleet approaching outer range. Estimated time to contact, 72 hours. The crew fell silent. 72 hours. 3 days until they faced their first test. 3 days until humanity's fate began to change forever. Mark gripped the armrest, feeling the hum of the ship beneath his hand. Then we prepare, he said firmly. If the Dracs want to test humanity, we will give them an answer they will never forget. The ship's voice echoed through the chamber. Acknowledged. Weapon systems charging. Tactical training initiating. Holographic battles lit up in the air before them, starships colliding, strategies unfolding. The Vanguard began to teach its captain. For the first time, Mark felt no fear. Only determination. The galaxy did not yet know, but soon it would learn. Humanity was no longer weak, and the warship that should not even exist was about to make its presence known. The countdown moved like a shadow across the crew's minds. 3 days until the Drax fleet arrived. 3 days until the Vanguard would be tested. On the first day, the ship trained them. Holograms filled the bridge with glowing fleets, red for the enemy and blue for their own ship. Mark sat in the captain's chair, learning how to guide the ship with simple hand movements. The controls were strange, but the Vanguard adapted, shaping its systems around him. Enemy vessels rely on brute force, the ship explained. But precision defeats power. Strike where they cannot defend. Move where they cannot follow. Mark listened carefully, repeating maneuvers until they felt natural. Lena studied the ship's sensors, learning to track enemy signatures. Tom worked with the engineering systems, discovering how the engines could bend light itself to shift positions in space. On the second day, tension grew. They ate in silence, each lost in thought. Lena finally spoke. We are not soldiers. We are just people who fix broken ships. How can we fight an Empire's fleet? Mark looked at her with steady eyes. Because this ship believes we can. And if it believes in us, then we must believe in ourselves. Tom grinned, though nervous. Besides, we have weapons no one in this time has ever seen. If the Dracs want to fight, they will regret it. On the third day, the sensors blared. The fleet was coming. From the asteroid's edge, 6 Drax warships appeared, sharp and angular, their hulls covered in spikes of metal. Each one was larger than the Vanguard, and together they looked like a wall of firepower. They are scanning the field, Lena whispered. They are hunting us. Mark tightened his grip on the chair. Vanguard, prepare to move. The ship's hum rose. Engines ready. Weapons charged, awaiting orders. The asteroid split open as the Vanguard glided into open space, black armor shining with lines of blue light. For a moment, the Drax ships froze as though stunned by the sight of something they had never seen before. Then their weapons charged. They are locking on us, Lena said quickly. Evasive, Mark commanded. The Vanguard leapt forward, moving faster than the human eye could follow. Beams of burning energy slashed past, but none struck home. The ship twisted and turned with grace like it was dancing among giants. Phase lances burst from the ship's sides, white beams that cut through space itself. One Drax ship took a direct hit. Its shields flared, cracked, and then the hull shattered like glass, breaking into pieces that scattered into the void. Tom let out a shout. One down! But the others closed in, surrounding the Vanguard from all sides. Their cannons lit up, filling space with fire. Shields holding, the ship's voice reported. Activating temporal field. Suddenly, the battle slowed. To Mark's eyes, the enemy shots crawled forward like drifting sparks. The Vanguard surged between them, weaving past deadly blasts that would have torn any other ship apart. The temporal shield bent time itself, giving them seconds where others had only moments. Now, Mark commanded. The Vanguard unleashed its drones. Small silver machines swarmed out of hidden bays, moving in perfect formation. They flew at the enemy ships, splitting into hundreds of glowing sparks. The Drax fired at them, but the drones moved too fast. They struck the enemy hulls and tore through metal like blades of light. Another Drax ship exploded. Then another. Lena stared in awe. We are winning, but the largest enemy ship pushed forward, its guns blazing. The blasts struck hard, shaking the bridge. For the first time, the Vanguard shuddered. Shields weakening, the ship warned. Mark's heart pounded. He felt the crew's eyes on him. This was the moment. If they failed now, all hope would end. Bring us close, he ordered. The Vanguard surged forward, racing straight toward the massive enemy warship. Lena gasped. Mark, that's suicide. Trust me, Mark said calmly. The enemy fired everything at them, a storm of burning energy. But the Vanguard slipped between the blasts, charging straight for the heart of the ship. Phase lance full power, Mark commanded. The glowing beam shot out, brighter than a star. It cut through the enemy ship in one clean line, splitting it from nose to tail. For a moment, the Drax vessel hung in silence. Then it erupted in a storm of fire and debris. The remaining ships turned and fled. The battlefield grew quiet. Only the wreckage of broken ships floating in silence. The crew sat frozen, the reality slowly sinking in. 6 ships had come. 4 had been destroyed. 2 had fled. The Vanguard stood untouched, its black armor glowing softly. Tom broke the silence with a laugh. We did it. We actually did it. Lena sat back, her hands shaking. We just destroyed a Drax fleet. Do you realize what this means? They will never forgive this. They will come back with more. Mark nodded slowly. Yes, they will. But today, they learned something. Humanity is not weak, not anymore. The Vanguard's voice spoke once more, steady and calm. First battle complete. Probability of larger enemy response 98%. Recommendation: prepare for war. Mark stared at the stars ahead, feeling the weight of those words. Humanity's place in the galaxy had just changed. The Drax would not stop, and others would soon take notice. The warship from the future had revealed itself, and there was no turning back. Earth was quiet, but its leaders were not. In the central command room, screens glowed with information about the Drax fleet and the mysterious warship. Messages arrived faster than humans could read, reporting the impossible, a ship so advanced it should not exist yet. General Harper slammed his fist on the table. We cannot let this ship remain in unknown hands. If the Drax Alliance learns about it, Earth will be destroyed before we can react. This is a threat. Admiral Silva shook his head. It is not a threat. It is a weapon, and if we use it correctly, it could ensure humanity's survival. With it, no alien empire could challenge us. The debate was heated. Some leaders feared war, others saw hope. And all the while, the Vanguard floated silently in space, untouched, teaching its captain, waiting. Thousands of kilometers away, Mark sat in the glowing command chair, feeling the weight of the galaxy pressing down on him. He had just received encrypted messages from Earth's leaders. Some demanded he surrender the ship immediately. Others told him to prepare to fight if necessary. Lena studied the incoming messages. Mark, they are divided. Some want to hide the ship, some want to use it. But no one agrees. If they cannot decide, we are alone out here. Mark rubbed his forehead. Then we decide ourselves. The ship is human. That means it belongs with humanity. But not if humanity destroys itself in fear. Tom leaned over a display showing fleet simulations. We already destroyed 1 Drax fleet. They will send more. And when they do, Earth will need the Vanguard. But we cannot give it to leaders who hesitate or argue endlessly. Lena nodded slowly. We are standing on the edge of something bigger than us. The ship is alive, Mark, I can feel it. It is guiding us, not just teaching us how to fight. It is teaching us how to lead. Mark looked at the ship's glowing armrest. The hum was steady, reassuring. Then we lead. For humanity. Not for politics. Not for fear. For survival. The next day, the Vanguard began showing them enemy movements beyond what Earth could scan. Red dots appeared in places no human sensor could detect. The ship explained in calm tones. The Drax Alliance is mobilizing forces on 3 fronts. Their strategy is aggressive. They expect humanity to flee. Probability of resistance success without Vanguard, 2%. Tom whistled softly. That's not encouraging, Mark nodded. Then we do what they cannot expect. We show them humanity is not weak, Lena hesitated. And what about Earth? If leaders cannot agree, we might be forced to act alone. Mark's eyes were steady. Then we act. The ship chose us. That is reason enough. If humanity wants to survive, we must be ready to fight, even if the world cannot decide. The days passed in careful preparation. The crew drilled, learned the ship's systems, and mapped enemy positions. Each hour, the tension grew. Each hour, the ship seemed to teach more, not just about combat, but about strategy, prediction, and decision-making. One evening, Mark stood alone on the bridge, staring at the stars. He could feel the weight of the decision on his shoulders. Giving the ship to leaders who argued endlessly might doom humanity. Keeping it entirely in their hands might save it, but at what cost? The ship pulsed softly beneath him. Its voice spoke almost like a whisper. Humanity will face trials. Trust in your judgment. Bond is complete. Captain, your will guides this vessel. Mark nodded slowly. I understand. We protect humanity, not blindly, not recklessly. We lead carefully and we prepare for what comes next. Lena entered quietly. Mark, I have been thinking. The Drax Alliance will not stop. If Earth cannot act, then we must. The ship has chosen us because we are willing to stand. That is our duty. Tom leaned against the wall. And we are ready. Not just to fight, but to show the galaxy that humans are not prey. That humans can rise even from weakness. Mark looked at them both and then at the glowing bridge before him. We are ready. The Drax Alliance will come. Earth may hesitate, but we will not. Humanity's future begins here with the vanguard with us and with the courage to act when others cannot. The lights of the ship pulsed brighter, as if approving. Outside stars glimmered like silent witnesses. The crew felt a quiet pride, a sense that what they were doing mattered far beyond themselves. Mark knew that the galaxy would not wait. The Drax Alliance would arrive. Other powers would watch. Decisions must be made, and they would be made here, in this moment. Guided by a ship from the future and by humans who refused to bow. And though the galaxy remained unaware, the balance of power was shifting. Humanity was no longer weak. Humanity had a voice, a weapon, and a will strong enough to change everything. The vanguard waited silently, ready to fight. And so did Mark and his crew. The red warning lights of the vanguard pulsed across the bridge. Hundreds of enemy ships were moving through space, closing in fast. The Drax Alliance had sent a massive armada, larger than any fleet Mark had ever seen. Their mission was clear. Destroy the ship, destroy its crew, and prove that humanity could not rise. Mark tightened his grip on the command chair. This is it, he said. All or nothing. Vanguard, prepare for combat. Everyone stay focused. The ship responded with its calm, steady voice. Weapon systems at full capacity. Tactical analysis complete. Probability of victory, 67% with coordinated maneuvers. Lena studied the holographic projections of the incoming fleet. They are organized in waves. If we can break the first line, we can create chaos in their ranks. Tom's hands flew over the controls, activating the ship's engines and drones. I have never seen power like this. The Vanguard can move faster than their missiles can track. Their cannons will not even hit us if we use the right maneuvers. The armada appeared on the horizon, a wall of steel and fire. The first wave surged forward, weapons charging. The crew felt a cold pressure in their chests. This was not a small battle. This was a war. Mark gave the order. Engage. Attack in formation Delta. The Vanguard glided forward, its hull shining black with blue lines of energy. Enemy fire struck around them, but the ship moved like water, twisting, turning, and avoiding every hit. The temporal shield slowed time for incoming projectiles, giving the crew seconds they needed to respond. Fire phase lances, Mark commanded. White beams shot from the Vanguard, cutting through the enemy's first wave. One by one, Drax ships exploded into fragments, drifting silently into the void. Return fire, Mark ordered. The second wave advanced faster and more aggressive. The Drax fleet had learned from the first attack. They coordinated their weapons, targeting the ship with deadly precision. Lena's fingers flew over the sensors. Mark shields at 70%. They are focusing everything on us. Mark's eyes narrowed. Vanguard, deploy drones. Hundreds of small drones poured from hidden bays, each one moving like a silver streak. They attacked the enemy ships, tearing into hulls, disabling engines, and creating confusion among the ranks. The Drax ships collided with each other, unable to escape the swarm. Keep moving. Do not stop, the ship instructed. Its voice was steady, guiding their hands and decisions. The crew followed the instructions perfectly. The Vanguard moved in patterns no human mind could have calculated alone. They twisted through enemy fire, striking with precision and disappearing before the Drax could react. But the largest Drax command ship approached, leading a new wave. Its cannons were massive, its hull nearly indestructible. For the first time, the crew felt real fear. Mark gritted his teeth. "We cannot run. Vanguard, full power engines, engage direct assault." The ship surged forward at impossible speed. The enemy fired and the blast struck the shields, making the bridge shake. But the Vanguard pushed through. Its phase lances concentrated on the command ship. The beams burned through the outer hull, splitting armor and damaging the engines. "Direct hit," Tom shouted. "It is losing power." The Drax command ship exploded, sending a shockwave across the battlefield. The remaining enemy vessels wavered, retreating in fear. Mark sat back, breathing heavily. "We did it," he said, though he knew the fight was not over. The Vanguard pulsed with energy, almost like a heartbeat. First major engagement complete. Enemy retreating. Probability of counterattack high. Recommendations: pursue, neutralize, and defend humanity's borders. Lena shook her head in awe. "We are not just fighting for survival. We are showing the galaxy that humanity can rise. They will remember this battle forever." Tom laughed, exhausted but happy. "We destroyed an entire Drax armada, and it feels incredible." Mark's eyes were steady, looking toward the stars. "Incredible, yes. But the galaxy will not stop here. Others will come, stronger, smarter, and faster. This is just the beginning. Humanity has proven its strength, but we cannot be careless." The crew nodded, understanding the weight of their actions. They were no longer just a salvage team. They were defenders, warriors, and symbols of humanity's courage. Outside the viewing window, the wreckage of Drax ships floated silently, a reminder of the battle. The Vanguard glowed softly, ready for the next challenge. Mark knew that the war was far from over. Earth might hesitate. Other alien powers were watching. But one thing was clear. Humanity had risen from weakness, and with the Vanguard they could face the galaxy with courage and strength. The stars sparkled in silence, witnessing the rise of a new power. The Vanguard had led the way, and humanity's place in the galaxy was no longer uncertain. The galaxy waited silently as the Drax Alliance assembled its full armada. Hundreds of ships, larger and stronger than before, moved with deadly precision toward Earth's sector. The message was clear. Humanity must be crushed. Mark stood on the bridge of the Vanguard, his hand resting lightly on the armrest. The hum of the ship pulsed like a heartbeat, steady and calm. This was the final test, the ultimate battle. Lena studied the projections of the enemy fleet. "They have learned from our previous fight. Their formations are tighter. Their weapons are stronger. If we fail this time, Earth may be lost." Tom clenched his fists. "Then we will not fail. We have the Vanguard and we have each other. The galaxy will learn that humans are not weak." Mark nodded slowly. "Everyone, remember what we are fighting for. Not just survival, but humanity's right to exist and rise. Today we show the galaxy our strength." The Vanguard surged forward, engines glowing bright. The Drax fleet opened fire immediately. Waves of red energy slashed across space, but the ship twisted and turned with impossible speed. Temporal shields slowed the incoming fire, giving the crew precious seconds to respond. "Deploy drones," Mark commanded. Hundreds of silver machines burst from the Vanguard, splitting into swarms. They flew toward the enemy, striking at engines and weapons, creating confusion and disorder. Lena's fingers danced over the controls. "We can separate their fleet. Target their command ships first. Break their lines, then pick off the rest." The Vanguard moved as if alive, anticipating enemy attacks and guiding the crew's actions. Phase lances fired in precision, cutting through enemy hulls, while the drones struck simultaneously, leaving ships burning and drifting in space. But the largest Drax ships advanced, their firepower immense. Shields flared, warning lights blared, and the bridge shook from the explosions. For the first time, the crew felt real danger. Mark took a deep breath. "Vanguard full power. We will strike the largest ship head-on." The vessel surged forward faster than the human eye could follow. Energy beams clashed with shields, and explosions lit up the void like distant stars. The crew held tight as the ship's power focused on one target, the Drax command ship. White light erupted as the phase lances struck, burning through armor and splitting the hull. The enemy ship exploded in a storm of fire and metal fragments. The remaining vessels hesitated, uncertain of what to do next. Tom laughed, though his hands shook.
"One more and the rest will scatter."
Mark gave the order. Finish the assault. Protect humanity. The vanguard moved among the enemy fleet with grace, striking one ship after another. The crew acted as one with the ship, anticipating movements and counterattacks. The Drac ships fell like dominoes, each explosion lighting the darkness. Finally, the remaining armada tried to retreat, but the vanguard blocked their path. "No escape," Mark said calmly. "Today humanity stands." The last of the Drac's vessels fired desperately, but the ship's shields held, and drones disabled their weapons. One by one, they surrendered or were destroyed. The battlefield grew quiet, filled only with debris. The vanguard floated at the center, glowing softly, victorious. The crew looked at one another, exhausted but alive. Lena wiped her hands across her face. "We did it." "We really did it," Tom grinned, voice full of pride. "The galaxy will never forget this. Humans are no longer weak. They will remember who we are." Mark looked out at the stars. "Today we fought not just for survival, but to prove that humanity has a place among the stars. The Dracs will think twice before challenging us again. Other empires are watching now, and they will see that humans are strong, determined, and united." The vanguard pulsed beneath him, almost as if it was proud. Its systems had not only helped them win, but had guided them, taught them, and bonded with them. Mark spoke softly. "Vanguard, thank you. You chose us for a reason. Together we have changed humanity's future." The ship replied calmly. "Acknowledged. Human captain, the bond is complete. Future probability for survival and advancement of humanity significantly increased." Outside the ship, the galaxy remained quiet. But something had shifted. Humanity's rise had begun. Other species would take note. Earth would stand stronger. And in the void of space, a legend had been born. Humans, once underestimated, had fought and won against overwhelming odds with courage, strategy, and the guidance of a ship from the future. Mark turned to his crew. "This is only the beginning. We will prepare for the next challenge. But remember this moment. Humanity has proven itself. The galaxy will never forget the day we stood and fought as one." The crew nodded, hearts full of pride and determination. The vanguard glowed, ready for the next mission, and the stars beyond seemed to shine a little brighter. Humanity had claimed its place in the galaxy, and nothing would ever be the same.